Alright, welcome back. It's going to be part 3 of this video. I know at the end of the last one that probably is posting today, right now, I said I was going to make these videos shorter. I don't know, at some point I think I will put a short video out. But right now they're all in that 25, 26, 24 minute range. Maybe for woodworking that's good, but I don't want to lose people. Anyway, so what we're gonna do today is make the panel. So this is the wood I'm gonna use over here to make the panel. So I'll clean up the edges, nice and straight, edge glue these. The good thing is the size of this will end up being just shy of 12 inches, which means that when I glue this up and cut it down to size, I can run it through the planer and plane the whole thing. So I picked out some pieces, the colors I like. I was trying to go for like this, I've got pieces over here that got like a reddish color to them. I didn't want that because what we're gonna end up doing is staining this door frame a little reddish tint to it. And I want these to stand out to kind of be a contrast. So this is what we're going to use for the panel. So when I'll do this, clean it up, run it through planer, all that will be ready to go, glued up, all that jazz. We'll do that, and then we'll do the final glue up. Edges cleaned up, so now we clamp these up, nice tight fit between the boards, glue that up and let that set, and then we'll trim it to size, run it through the planer, and as they say over across the pond, Bob's your uncle. All right, glued up panel. So you saw me putting these pieces on. I think these are called cauls, C-A-U-L-S. And basically we're gluing up a panel, especially a thin panel like this, because as you tighten this pressure here to glue the edges or cinch up the edges, it wants to kind of squeeze bow one way or the other, and so these pieces keep it straight, clamped in, and very little. Of course, there's a little glue squeeze out, but when I run it through the planer, I'll clean all that up. I'll wipe some of it off though. But there you go, one panel gluing up. See, now while this is happening, then maybe I can put some new bench tops in or take down the Christmas light decoration. Because although I'm in Virginia, I think by law, pretty sure about that, you're allowed to keep your Christmas decorations up until June 15th. I believe. Don't quote me on that though. All right, welcome back. We've got the panel unclamped. It's ready to start cutting down on this snowy Virginia day. See out there, We got about 6 inches, I think, at this point, and another 6 maybe coming down today. So the whole state is in a panic. I'm sure all of the shelves are clear bread and milk and probably toilet paper, as they usually are. But while that's occurring, we already got the driveways plowed, all good. While that's happening, now we do some woodworking. So we got the panel all it's all glued up. Now we're gonna cut it to rough size here, and then width. We'll cut it to the rough width, and then run it through the planer. It's just a tad thick, so we're gonna run it through the planer, and then we'll start doing some dry fitting in this panel here, and get it just right, and then we'll glue up this whole thing. Glue up the whole thing, and then on to the next project while that's gluing. So let's get started. All right, through the planer, thinned it out. I've got some pieces here that the same tongue and groove as the door, so you can see fits just, it's perfect all the way around. So now I'll do the finish sanding and then cut it to size. It's got to come down. It's got to come down a little bit. So let me do some finish sanding, and then we'll start doing some rough fitting into the panel. Make sure it's all good, and then it's glue up time. Glue up time. All right, so this is right now sanded down to 120 on the front and the back. This is the back. You know, they got some, I didn't want to go any thinner. I wanted to fit, not snug, but have some room, a little bit of wiggle room, but I don't want to go down anymore. So this will be the back. This is the front, somewhat clean. There's a couple little cracks here from this, you know, that's what you get with that reclaimed wood. But now I'm going to sand this down 180 and then 220. But before I hit it with the 220, I'll do the 180 and then I'll wet it. And basically what that does is it raises the grain just a little bit as it dries, and then come back with the 220 and knock that down, and it'll be smooth as a baby's rump. Let's go. All right. Basically, we just dampen the wood. You know, we don't have to soak this thing. We just want to get it damp, and then we'll let the, basically what this will do, we'll raise this grain a little bit. We'll let this dry, and we'll come back and knock it down with the 220, and should be a real nice. All right, so I saved you guys some time on cutting it, but basically I trimmed it up on the table saw. Just had to knock a little bit off. I like the way it's fitting in there right now, obviously, but fits in there nice. And now we'll just do some finish sanding, and then start gluing this up and clamping it. All right, let's go. Nice smooth operator style right here. That is schmoof. So now we're going to glue it up, clamp it. Is it Ed clamp it? Jed clamp it. That's it. Jed clamp it. We're going to Jed clamp it. Beverly Hillbilly style. And then we let it sit. Maybe we'll just film it drying when it's gluing. That should be exciting. No, we're not going to do that. So let's get started on that. We'll do a little time-lapse action. All right, all glued up. And it is square, actually. Top corner up there, right there. Bottom corner down here, 82. Top corner up there, bottom corner over here, 82 on the button. And that has nothing to do with the woodworking that I've done. That was pure luck. But it's all glued up. A couple of gaps here, I think, can be filled as we're doing the final sanding. The panel fits in real nice. I think it's gonna look real good. You know, we'll do the final sanding and then we'll have to trim here. I'll get the other door, make sure to do all of that. Hinges will be on this side. Door latch here. When we do the sanding, actually before the sanding, what I'll do is probably take a router, like with a rabbit, and you'll see it's a special bit. It's got a little bearing on it, and we'll knock this bottom lip off, right? So essentially all you'll have is this top lip. I have to chisel out the corners because it's a round bit, obviously. So I'll have to chisel those square. And basically the glass, the frosted glass, will sit up against the back of this, right? And then I've got little brackets that hang off of the back here and screw in, hold the glass in tight. So it's all glued up. Looks pretty, I think it looks pretty good. First time doing a bigger project like this on an actual door. You know, a couple gaps I think I'm not happy with, but you know, you gotta take the good with the bad, I suppose. I think I'll have to plane this piece overall. The style here sits a little bit proud of all the rails. Just a little bit, so could do a little planing on this to get it down. This one's actually pretty good. The sanding we'll just take that down. But all right, that wraps up this video. So make sure to like it, subscribe, hit the little bell, and then you'll get notified when I'm putting new videos out. Thanks for joining me, and it's still snowing out, so I got some more shoveling and snowplow work to do. All right, take care.